Hello, friends. This is going to be a difficult one today. I don't think we need the intro for this. It is with a heavy heart that I come to you and just relate the loss of a friend. We never met in person, but we've been pen pals for the better part of a year. Her name was Cherie. I'll put a picture up of her over here. This is really difficult. This is the first person I've ever known with Parkinson's that has passed away. Now, it was more than just Parkinson's. She was older. She was in poor health. There was a lot else going on, but Parkinson's was no small part of her burden. I was able to spend some time with her on just through chat and stuff. I was never able to FaceTime her. She was self-conscious because at the end she was having trouble with her words and stuff. But she would send me emails and messages pretty much every week. She was a big Ozzy fan, which is why I got this. She saw the Beatles in 1966 in Busch Stadium, which is in St. Louis. She loved Godzilla, which is why I got those two over there. It wasn't unusual for her to send me a little note that says Godzilla loves you, and she'd send me like a little GIF or a little GIF or a picture of Godzilla. Little did I know what an amazing, powerful, iconic person she was. I probably would have been more intimidated had I known. I've been in contact with her brother and her son, and they've got nothing but great stories and just amazing things this woman did in her life. And I mentioned a couple weeks ago about a friend of mine who was in the later stages of Parkinson's. This was Cherie. Cherie was the one I was talking about. Life just... sometimes it just don't give you a break. But I'm trying not to focus on that. I'm trying to focus on the amazing life that Cherie had. In fact, her son wrote a tribute. I'll put the link below. You can go see pictures of her when she was younger and just find out about her life. She was a civil rights activist. She was a war protester. She was a mom. She was a wife. She was a grandmother. She had high highs and some very low lows. She shared some of those with me. That's personal information, but some really beautiful and really just tragic things happened to this lady. And this is the first time I've ever had to really confront the death of someone I knew, even through email and messages. Because of Parkinson's. I would say Parkinson's played a pretty big role in her struggles at the end. I just don't have a lot of words. I mean, for once, I'm kind of overwhelmed. It kind of reminds me similarly when my grandfather died. When I was looking back through the pictures of his life, I was just completely overwhelmed. That was the one word I used to describe looking through my grandfather's life, was just completely overwhelmed by the life I saw. Same thing with Cherie. Now, I desperately wish I could have talked to her face-to-face or through FaceTime, but I don't think I needed to do that to get to the heart of who she was. She was a lover. She was a fighter for those who didn't have a voice. She was an icon. She was brilliant. If you read the tribute that her son wrote, you'll find out how many just fantastic things this lady did. She was beautiful for another thing. She kind of alluded to the fact, just kind of that she used to be quite a looker, or she didn't say that. She said something about I was much cuter in my younger days, and wow, she was a knockout. Cherie, you were a knockout. I would have blushed to meet you. Hell, I probably would have blushed to meet you at the end, too. You were still beautiful at the end. Although, you were really proud of how beautiful you were when you were younger. You were stunning. She was stunning. And I think back to when I first, started to come in contact with her, and the first thing I noticed, she was very genuine. She would share very, very personal things with me. Like it wasn't unusual for me to get a message if she was having some kind of health emergency, and she would message me. In fact, it was really sad. But she messaged me something about it's cold, I'm alone, and I don't know anybody. It just broke my heart. But she will be remembered. She will never. I mean, in my house, I've got like this picture frame that's like you like puts like it's like a slideshow. She's on there. I remember when she bought one of my T-shirts. She was so proud. She sent me a picture of it. I think it's her Facebook profile picture, or at least it was, with her J-Mac, Parkinson's with J-Mac shirt. This is the hard part. This is the really hard part when you get to know somebody, even as a pen pal, and just through photos, and then they're gone. They're just gone. I might choke up a little bit here. The last message I got from her was a post on one of my songs on YouTube, and it said something along the lines of, "I am fine, and I love you." I think she said, "Sam and I are fine," which I'm assuming was her little stuffed kitty that she had with her, "and we love you." Wow, that someone near the end of their life would think of me, someone they never met, just watched on YouTube, and want to reach out to me. Really touching stuff. But it just reinforces the fact that every day is borrowed. Don't wait till your friends are gone to buy them flowers. Send them now. Give them a hug now. It's just, as I get older, I begin to see things so much differently, and that's the advantage of being older. You might hear a sound. It's my neighbor playing bass. I'll just leave it in because I'm kind of on a roll here. Cherie loved her rock and roll. She loved her rock and roll. In fact, I believe at her wake or her funeral, I could be getting them mixed up, they played Baba O'Reilly, which is also, I guess, more familiar as Teenage Wasteland by The Who. And she was a rocker, and she loved music, she loved life. And I just wish I could have met her and spent some time with her. But folks, cherish your loved ones, cherish them. And especially your ill relatives or your ill friends. Because you never know. I mean, I was trying to do the math this morning of like, how much longer do I have? It's pointless. You can't do that stuff. I could pass tomorrow. I could live for another 30 years. But I guess the important thing is that she is free of that prison that was her body. At the end, it was a prison in her own body. She couldn't really move around. She couldn't really speak. I told her in one of just between you and me and the rest of my YouTube channel, I told her, I hope after you pass, you come and haunt me in the most pleasant way possible. And I'm just really emotional. It's really hard for me. I guess maybe it'll get easier the longer I've known people with PD and I see them pass. I don't think it will, but it just really hit me hard. So, to Cherie, I doff my cap, my faded St. Louis Blues cap. She lived in St. Louis for a time. And just Cherie, I will be thinking about you a lot. Your son and your brother. You're in my thoughts. I'm not a praying man, but if I was, I'd say a prayer for you right now. But I'm sending out good vibes. No, and I don't think there's any reason for me to have to say this again, but your mother and your sister were an amazing person. Was an amazing person. To live half the life she lived. to seen half the things she'd seen, good and bad. Cherie, I love you. Peace and love from the city of St. Louis.